I don't believe in God.
What? Brian?
Number 10. Chris dates a girl with Down syndrome. In this episode, Chris has a crush on Ellen, a girl who has Down syndrome, and he works up the courage to ask her out after a harrowing experience in the woods.
Well, I really like you. And I was wondering if maybe, you want to go out on a date with me.
You want me to be your girlfriend?
Shucks, I guess that's what I'm driving at.
However, things don't work out when the two go on a date, as Chris finds her to be too difficult.
Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Sitting down?
Get up and pull my chair out for me.
Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's better.
Andrea F. Friedman, the actress who voices Ellen, has Down syndrome in real life, and the message of the episode is that people with Down syndrome are like everyone else, for better or for worse. However, the episode also contained a controversial reference to former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, who has a child with Down syndrome. Several people, including Palin herself, were outraged by the joke at the time of the episode's airing.
So what do your parents do?
That's better. My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska.
Number 9. Lois has a shoplifting problem.
Well, I'm a little short. I'll have to put the ham back.
The reason Lois engages in this illegal activity is because of the rush it gives her when she gets away with it. She ends up going to prison when she's eventually caught, and her family's life ends up being complicated when they break her out and have to go on the lam with her.
I think I got an idea of how to smuggle you out.
Bye-bye. Take care now. Have a nice day.
The episode doesn't delve into the effects of shoplifting, such as the harm it does to stores or how the costs are pushed onto consumers. The moral doesn't really go beyond shoplifting as a crime, so nobody should do it. Hopefully you already knew that.
I made my own bed with this one, guys. I'm just gonna have to pay my debt to society.
Number 8. Brian admits to being an atheist.
Ugh, Mom, you sound like a non-believer. Brian, you're a thoughtful person. Are you willing to open yourself up to God's truth?
Oh, you're barking up the wrong tree, Meg. I'm an atheist.
Considering himself a dog of great intellect, Brian has found no need to belong to any particular religion. When Meg asks Brian to lead the Griffin family in prayer, he comes out to the family as an atheist.
I don't believe in God.
What? Brian? How can you say that?
Upon discovering this revelation, the whole town of Quahog treats Brian like he's an outcast. In American society, atheists don't get the warmest reception, and this episode playfully exaggerates the unpopularity of atheism. Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane, who also does the voice of Brian, is a vocal atheist and a critic of religion.
But what is there to believe in without God? Where do the answers come from?
Well, that's all part of the human experience. It's what we're here to find out. And I bet you that the real answer to the nature of our existence is going to be more unimaginably amazing than we can possibly conceive.
Number 7. Brian Griffin fights for marriage equality. Brian's cousin Jasper plans to enter a same-sex marriage, but it's threatened because Adam West is considering issuing a ban.
Some breaking news today when Mayor West announced he will sign a citywide ban on gay marriages next week. While controversial, it has nonetheless effectively distracted all of us from the Diggum fiasco.
To stick up for his cousin, Brian tries to change people's minds about gay marriage, including Lois. With this take on gay marriage, Family Guy comments on the hypocrisy of people who pretend that letting LGBTQ+ people get married is a threat, while such people don't respect their own marriage.
What if Brian's right? I mean, certainly the love between a man and a woman should be sacred, but...
Who's talking about love? We're talking about marriage.
Well, don't you love Mom?
Come on, Lois, look at her.
So 2 straight people who hate each other have more of a right to be together than 2 gay people who love each other?
That's what we raised you to believe.
The show also pokes fun at politicians who use the issues like marriage equality as a political distraction from their own failures, such as Mayor West with his Diggum statue.
I'm sorry, Mayor West.
Well, you were only doing what you thought was right, Brian. And hey, you've distracted everyone from the Diggum statue, so I guess we don't need this bill anymore.
Number 6. The Griffins befriend a Jewish man. Given how irresponsible Peter is, it isn't surprising that he's no good with money.
So perhaps you'd be interested in something every homeowner cannot be without: volcano insurance.
Go on.
According to my uncle, who's a real whiz with volcanoes, a volcano is coming this way.
I, too, have an uncle. Come in.
When he's helped by accountant Max Weinstein, Peter assumes the man is good with finances because he's Jewish. Impressed with his Jewish friend, Peter pushes for Chris to convert to Judaism in the hopes that becoming Jewish will provide Chris with a better life.
Oh, Lois, I'm gonna make Chris Jewish.
What are you talking about?
He thinks if Chris is Jewish, he'll become smart.
Various stereotypes about Jewish people are explored and poked fun at in this episode. Because of its subject matter, the episode was considered so controversial that Fox didn't air it until after it had already premiered on Adult Swim.
How much for one of those?
You can't just buy a bar mitzvah. It requires a lot of study.
Can we skip that part? I mean, come on. If Chris knew how to study, he wouldn't need to become Jewish in the first place, right?
Number 5. Peter Griffin takes on Big Tobacco.
Hello, boys. Today's pie is cherry. It'll be ready just in time for lunch.
Wow, these guys sure know how to run a company.
Look how happy those morons are. They'll never realize we're using those toys to get children addicted to our company's cigarettes.
After the El Dorado Cigarette Company buys out the Happy-Go-Lucky Toy Factory, Peter finds himself working for the organization. He finds the job to be lucrative and is quickly promoted to president of the company. However, this doesn't sit well with Lois and the rest of his family, who find Peter doing the bidding of Big Tobacco to be morally reprehensible.
Oh, God, what have I done? I knew smoking was bad, but I still sold my soul. And for what? Martha Stewart? Come on, kids. We gotta put a stop to this. Now!
The episode satirizes tactics cigarette companies use to deflect blame, such as lobbying Congress and tactics they use to target consumers through advertising mascots like the Marlboro Man and Joe Camel.
Timmy, where's Lassie?
She's out in the orchard, Ma. Peaches are coming in mighty early this year.
Smoke.
You know what they say, Timmy. Early peaches, long summer.
Smoke.
What's that, Lassie?
Are you smoking yet?
Number 4. The Griffins deal with immigration.
Boy, I never knew it'd feel this good to love my country. It's like loving God or a step-parent. You never really feel them love you back, but that's okay, because they got other stuff going on, and you understand.
With a newfound sense of patriotism after attending a parade celebrating military vets, Peter becomes fiercely anti-immigrant. However, because of an office policy he pushed for that required his company to verify every employee's legal status, Peter finds out that he wasn't born in the USA, but actually Mexico.
I was so afraid of being judged by the community that I never filled out the paperwork to make you a citizen.
Mom, what are you saying?
Peter, as far as the U.S. government is concerned, you're an illegal Mexican immigrant.
Unable to pass a citizenship test, his status is considered undocumented, and he discovers what life is like on the other side of the immigration debate. In classic Family Guy fashion, the episode takes sympathy with undocumented immigrants while still cracking jokes at their expense.
Immigrants built this country, and I say it's time for us to take it back. Who's with me?
Could you say whole speech again in Spanish?
Number 3. The Griffins come to terms with Brian's passing. In 2013, Family Guy decided to take a bold step and send Brian to the great beyond. His untimely passing was the result of getting hit by a car while getting ready to practice some street hockey.
Brian, look out!
One of the most emotional moments from the show comes when the Griffins visit Brian in his final moments to say goodbye.
Damn it, Brian, you can't die! We were going to do so many things together. We were going to become windsurfers. I was going to be a little better than you, but we were both going to be good.
However, Brian was brought back a couple of episodes later, which one could argue mitigated the finality of the issue. Many longtime fans of Family Guy were furious that the show would send off such a beloved character as Brian.
You've given me a wonderful life. I love you all.
Number 2. Glenn Quagmire deals with his dad coming out as transgender.
At ease, ladies. Hey, Glenn, you're not going to give your dad an entrance?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Guys, watch this.
Upon coming to Quahog to attend a naval ball, Quagmire's father, Dan, intends to become a woman, identifying as Ida. Quagmire doesn't know how to react, feeling mostly uncomfortable and ashamed. Of course, Peter is completely unenlightened on the subject, and when the Griffins host Quagmire and Ida, he raises questions that are stupid and pointless related to the gender reassignment surgery.
But I did put a lot of planning into the meal.
Yeah, we went down the list. Nothing with wieners, nuts, or grapes. Out of respect.
After the episode aired, several LGBTQ+ groups, including GLAAD, raised objections, finding the episode transphobic. And it isn't hard to see why with the jokes made at trans people's expense, including a subplot where Brian is horrified to discover Ida is trans after having hooked up with her.
Oh, man, what do we call him now? We still call him Dan? No, and I'm not crazy about the name change. What is it, like Danielle or Dana? No, Ida.
Number 1. Peter and Lois Griffin debate matters of life and choice. You needn't look any further than the title of the episode to see the amount of sensitivity Family Guy was going to give this subject. To help out a friend, Lois becomes a surrogate mother, but due to a tragedy, Lois has to choose whether or not to continue her pregnancy. However, Peter becomes opposed to terminating it, and the issue becomes contentious.
Peter, what the hell are you doing? Have you lost your mind?
Don't you worry, unborn fetus child. I am here to save you and protect you. I have seen the light.
The episode has one scene where the Griffin family debates the ethics of terminating a pregnancy. And as to be expected, Peter's opinions don't contribute anything to the conversation.
What if carrying the baby to term would endanger the mother's life?
I don't know what 7 of those words were.
What if you look at the ultrasound and see that the baby's gonna be born with no arms and no legs?
You name it, Matt.
This episode is so controversial for the handling of its subject that it has never aired on Fox.
But you know what? It's one more person to share the world with. Another little voice in the back seat of the car. One more Griffin to love and to love us in return.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.